Welcome to the I Ain't Lying podcast. My name is Amer Hakim. I am the founding member of HTY Law. This is a special episode for us. This is our first episode of our podcast. Today we have Robin Persiconi on our podcast. Congratulations, Robin. You're our first guest.
That is awesome.
That's so...
I'm honored to be your first guest on this podcast.
That's awesome. Well, you're super cool. Before we get into it, I want to let people know how we met. I'm an attorney. Robin's an attorney, and we're going to get into Robin's credentials. There are some landmark cases that we all remember as an attorney. Is that right, Robin?
Absolutely.
So I was, years ago in my past life, I used to do criminal defense. And I remember being in Canton District Court. I think that's the 35th District Court.
Yes, 35th.
Yep. It was June. No, it wasn't June. It was July 13, 2017. And I was holding an exam, and my client was charged with assault with a dangerous weapon. I had the witness on the stand. I cross-examined her. I thought I did a great job. I cross-examined the police officer, and the judge still bound it over. And walking out of there, I had my head down, and then I'm walking, and then I feel this tug. And I looked, and actually I looked down, didn't look up, and there was Robin. And she introduced herself, and she said, I watched your exam, and I know you lost, but you shouldn't have lost. And I said, why do you say that? You sat there, and you gave me all the pointers, and I was down, but listening to you really motivated me. I said, you know what? She's right. We ended up exchanging information. Got bound over to the circuit court. I ended up filing a motion to quash. A lot of that motion to quash were the pointers that you gave me. And the judge granted that motion. And my client paid me, but he had a lot to thank you for getting him off. So right then when I met you, I met an attorney that was compassionate. You were compassionate about the law, the rule of the law. Mm-hmm. You agreed with me that I thought the judge got it wrong. Mm-hmm. Now that I've gotten to know you the last 8 years, you're absolutely one of the hardest working attorneys I met. But my favorite characteristic about you is your strong advocacy. I've referred you cases, as you've referred me cases, mm-hmm. and the strongest feedback that I've gotten from those clients is, man, Amer, she's tough. She's tough. She worked. She went to work. That give you a lot of respect, honestly.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, you have to be in our profession. There's a lot of us. You can find a lawyer anywhere, but at the end of the day, you create your name. Your name is everything in our profession, and I take that very seriously. And just like when I'm referring existing clients, when I refer clients to you, I feel that you are someone that I would come to if I had a legal issue. So if my clients are coming to me, I'm sending them to someone that I feel 100% confident is going to put in the kind of work that that I would, and that that's just the nature of the beast. It's so important to be that way. That's how you advance. That's how you grow. And I mean, I consider myself very lucky because I love the work we do. I love being a lawyer. I can't imagine doing anything else other than being a lawyer or being in the legal profession in some capacity. So I'm just happy to get to wake up and do that every day.
You do it every day. I tell you, we've known each other now for 8 years. Mm-hmm. So now let the audience know why you're here. Robin is a long-time resident of Livonia. She's a small business owner, practicing attorney. We've talked about that. And you're a real active community volunteer. Mm-hmm. And you're running for Livonia City Council.
I am.
Okay.
I am.
And I mean, it isn't that you don't have enough hats to wear. Mm-hmm. You probably have your hands full, but this is something you deeply are motivated to do.
Absolutely. For me, I am, the federal, the local, the state level politics, that's not for me. I am committed to my community because I really think that local elections matter the most. The outcomes of those elections truly impact your day-to-day life. It's the roads we drive on. It's the public safety that we get. It's the response times. All of that is a direct result of the actions of your local elected officials. So I've lived in Livonia my whole life. I'm active in community service organizations. I try to get around town and do as much as I can. And this, to me, was kind of a natural stepping stone. I've always kind of had that urge to want to be in public service, and this is a great way to do it.
Local politics is the kitchen table politics, right? You get out of your driveway, you're driving on the local roads, your local schools, your local parks. That has a biggest impact on people's day-to-day life. I think what people are remiss, they watch the nightly news, they watch the state news, but local politics is where it's at.
Absolutely. You can really impact people's lives at the local level, I think. And that's why I love it, because it's just you're doing good for the community, and that's who doesn't feel good about doing good for their community?
Well, you touched on a few topics. I noticed that one of the strongest topics you're campaigning on is public safety. And it looks like the Livonia Police Association and the Livonia Commander Association has endorsed you. Why do you think they've endorsed you?
Well, I'm honored to have their endorsement, and I think they've endorsed me because they see me as a leader, someone they can trust, someone they can work with to make sure that we are doing what we need to be doing, that I can work with them and work with the community to make sure that we have a more safe community to live in and a more connected community to live in. And I'm happy to be an advocate wherever I can for the police. Being a criminal defense lawyer, I work with police day in and day out. For the past 23 years, I have worked with some of the finest law enforcement officers, and their job is tough. And they do, they have a very tough job. And I think as a resident of community that I feel safe in, I feel comfortable walking by myself in my city. I feel comfortable, running errands, going to ATMs alone and not worrying about things happening to me. And I know that there's people that live in communities that don't feel that safety. And we owe that to our first responders. So it is absolutely a top priority of mine to make sure public safety is at the forefront, because that's the foundation for a thriving community.
Yeah. I was reading your website, Strong and Safe Livonia. And that starts with our first responders, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
If you get robbed, who are you going to call? You're going to call the police. I got to be honest with you. As I mentioned, I've done some criminal defense. Nothing gave me more respect for the police. It was about 8-9 years ago. My wife calls me, Robin. She calls me and she says, Amer, the garage door, the service door is open, and I'm scared to go inside the house. What do I do? I think I was somewhere, I was in court, what have you. I said, well, you need to call 911. She calls 911, and she tells me two police officers showed up, one female police officer, one male police officer. She said, Amer, they came in our house. They went room by room, opened every door, searched it, made sure it was okay, and I went in the house. That sounds really simple, right? But it isn't. These are two people who have their own families. I told my wife, don't go in there, but these are two strangers who have their own families, who risked their lives to a stranger because they took a duty, they took an oath to make sure my family was safe. And they do that every day.
Yes, they do.
Every day.
Every day, without hesitation. They run to the trouble. They go to the trouble.
So that gave me a really, honestly, but strength in my, belief in the police. Not that I never believed in the police, because there's just as many good police officers as there's many good lawyers, many good doctors.
Right.
it's our job just to make sure that the Constitution is upheld.
That's it. That really is it. There's certainly no. It's interesting because, I think people have this really false perception of criminal defense lawyers in particular because we represent criminals, represent defendants, people charged with crimes, and I don't think that people truly understand that it's what's behind that. We're defending people's rights. We're defending the Constitution, and it's important because. First of all, I shouldn't say half even, the large majority of my clients are everyday people that just made bad choices on occasion.
One day.
Yeah, they just made a bad choice and they ended up they got caught. I think everyone's made bad choices in their lives and many of us are just fortunate we didn't get caught. And that's what I'm there for, so it's part of it's eye-opening when you start doing it and you realize everyone is just doing their job. I don't have any personal animosity towards any police officer. I could cross-examine them and grill them, and then after we're done, we're walking out talking about things, about what we did and what we learned, and hey, you could do that better, or do this better, and things like that. And that's amazing to be able to do that.
Absolutely, it's a job.
Mm-hmm.
It's a business. Mm-hmm. That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
Speaking of business, you're a small business owner.
I am.
How long? What business?
Well, I founded my own law practice back in 2002, and I have been in private practice ever since.
So you wear many hats.
I wear many hats.
You wear the lawyer hat.
I do.
You wear the boss hat.
I am.
You wear the janitor hat.
I am, absolutely.
Office manager hat.
You got it.
It's a lot of hats.
It is hiring, social media, all of it. It is.
Yeah. I tell people a lot of great lawyers are bad business people.
Very true.
A lot of good business people are bad lawyers. I think you're a unicorn. I think you wear both hats pretty well.
I think it goes back to also knowing, from, early on, I was always a hustler. I wanted to be my own boss. And, you get a lot of freedom in doing that. And I love that. And you really get to create the culture you want. You get to do the work you want. And I just feel really lucky to be able to do that and have the opportunity to be my own boss. It's amazing. It's really something I love.
Well, you can't take all the credit for it. Your dad was a business owner in Livonia for a long time. You had a pretty good role model.
I did have an excellent role model. My dad had his store in Livonia right at the corner of 5 and Farmington for 30 years. Him and my uncle were local pharmacists. And this was back in the day where we didn't have Rite Aids and CVS's and Walgreens at every corner. People went to your local pharmacy. They knew him by name. We were across the street, from where the police still is in the court and everything. And this was back in the day where if someone was in custody or someone got arrested and they didn't have their medicine on them, the police would come in and get medicine for the people that were in custody there from my dad's store. And, so I saw mayors walking in our store and police and just everyday people. And they loved my dad because he treated them all like family. He went, they were delivering, the technician when we're out and take, prescription to right around the corner from the pharmacy was a senior living facility. And someone, would occasionally call and be like, I can't, leave. I don't have a car, or my car broke down and, they're too weak to walk over. The pharmacy tech would go and deliver it to them and things like that. So it was amazing stuff to see. And I couldn't imagine doing it any other way.
Second generation business owner. Your whole life. Growing up, working, living, creating jobs. That takes me to the next question. What do you think about all of the current vacant commercial places in Livonia? There seems to be more over the years. What is your thought and what vision do you have for that? Well,
we definitely got to fix that. We have to really start attracting businesses to Livonia. And, it's really simple. I think there's some basic things that you can do. We are lucky in Livonia. We do have some new programs that have been developed. We have a workforce development program through the city. We've got small business grants available through the city. We definitely need to make sure that our businesses know about that and that businesses take advantage of those programs. we are a community that has 2 higher learning institutions in it. We've got Schoolcraft College and we've got Madonna University. We really need to start developing partnerships with the city and making sure that these schools and these institutions know that we've got, the opportunity for when these people graduate. You want to start your own business. We can help set you up with a path and create, tax abatements for you. Your first 5 years out, we're not going to increase your property taxes. You come in and you focus on growing your business. You focus on making those vacant spaces more welcoming to people to come into and spend that money in the building. And that just, the effects of that, just the rippling. Once you've got one vacant building that all of a sudden isn't vacant anymore, it's being taken care of, that ripples to the one next door. And then someone comes there. And then before you know it, you've got a vibrant little commercial corridor where once there was nothing. So we're doing good things. We have to grow those programs, and we've got to invest in them and make it a top priority for our city.
That sounds great for attracting new business. Talk about what you want to do for existing businesses that have been there, thick and thin, the people that thrive, existing people, because you always see commercials, example, the cell phone commercials. New customers, you get this, and this. Well, I'm an old customer. Don't forget about me.
Right.
Don't forget about me. What would you tell the current business owners now that have been in Livonia, that are paying their taxes just like you are, just like your dad has done for generations? What can you do for them?
Well, I think you really have to, as if I'm in city council and city government, it's important to reach out to these small business owners and have these conversations with them. I think I envision creating, almost like a small business roundtable where I'm hosting a monthly meeting with small business owners, asking them how things are going, checking in with them. What are you seeing? What do you need? Where I am right now in Livonia, I've had offices all throughout Metro Detroit, Dearborn, Canton, Plymouth. I've been in Livonia now in this space for 4 years, and I love this space where I'm in right now is the best space I've lived. I've practiced in and had my business in because I'm in a vibrant commercial corridor. It's a modern space. It's updated. I've got amenities at my fingertips. I can walk to go to lunch from where I am. They're little amenities and they're little benefits, but they have a major impact. That's where people want to be. They want to be where the action is, where the people are, where the stores are. And I think by making sure that our business owners stay and they feel connected to the community and they're being heard, I think that's a great step in keeping our businesses in Livonia.
With keeping businesses in Livonia, a lot of times when I talk to younger folks, when we're hiring new attorneys or other stuff, and they have a young family, and just casually talking, and say, what are the things that you look for in the community that you're going to live in? A lot of them want to see green spaces. A lot of them want to see parks and rec because they do have young children. They are raising a young family. What do you think about the parks and rec situation in Livonia? What's the current state of it now, and what would you like to do differently or the same?
Well, our parks, we've got tremendous parks in Livonia, but we also have parks that are blighted, that need work, and they need attention. So we definitely have to focus on revitalizing those parks. Now, something that I've really put some thought and consideration into is in Livonia is creating something called a city beautification commission, where you establish this commission, and their main goal is to improve curb appeal. When you improve curb appeal, you doing little things. Key initiatives are things like making sure that weeds are being pulled, that that equipment is usable and safe for everybody and accessible for everybody. You're doing things like creating art installations in the parks, and giving a space where people can come and walk outside and check out art exhibits. Doing things like that really, it enhances people's quality of life, and it makes them want to continue to come to Livonia and be active in the parks.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I can't let you leave here without asking tough questions.
Oh, okay.
All right. Just like every community in the state of Michigan, we talk about infrastructure and we talk about road maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me, but I already know what your answer is going to be. We got to get better roads. We got to do better infrastructure. That's not my question, because you're going to say yes. We need better roads. We need infrastructure. That's the easy question.
Right.
Right. Talk to me about real long-term infrastructure plans. And the real question is, how do you fund it? Mm-hmm. Those are the issues. Mm-hmm. The lip services, we're going to get better roads, we're going to have infrastructure. Sure, we all want that whole utopia. But the tough question is, and I'm sure you have, talk to me about what your idea to actually have a long-term plan. How do you fund it? What would you advocate for when you get on the city council?
Well, with respect to that issue, that is a hot button issue, because nothing is more irking than driving on crappy roads. And you do absolutely have to have a long-term plan in place. You identify what has to be fixed immediately in the short term, and then you identify what needs to take place over the course of the next 5 years, and you start there. But as far as paying for it, which is the issue, we got to get creative in Livonia. We got to start looking elsewhere. And a great place to start is grants. The federal government and the state government here in Michigan, they provide several grants for infrastructure. And roads are a top priority in the infrastructure pyramid. And we need to start consulting with grant writers. We need to have active grant writers available, so when these opportunities come up to get grant money, we're getting it. We'll be able to fix road repairs at no cost to the taxpayers of Livonia, and we have better roads. And better roads, it attracts families, it attracts businesses, it's safer, it's a necessity.
All roads lead to Livonia.
All roads lead to Livonia.
You can have that one.
I like that. Thank you.
I'm giving you that one.
I like that. All roads lead to Livonia.
All roads lead to Livonia.
I haven't left. I've stayed there.
I have a question. How long is the term for city council? How long is it?
So the way that our council, the way our charter's drafted is in this particular election, there's 4 open seats. So the top 3 vote-getters get 4-year terms, and the person that comes in 4th place gets a 2-year term.
That's odd.
Mm-hmm. So we have elections. Our local elections are every 2 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a strong mayor system? What type of system is Livonia? Strong, is there a mayor? Does a mayor have a vote in city council?
So the mayor is the executive, right, of our city government. Okay. The council is the legislative body. We approve, laws, ordinances that come through. Obviously, the main purpose of the council is spending, is the budget. It's our job to prepare the annual budget for the city of Livonia, and that budget is over $200 million. So there's a lot of money, and we need to make sure that we are getting the best services for the least amount of money, so that we're not raising taxes. Livonia is very proud to have the lowest tax rate in all of Wayne County cities. It's the lowest city with the lowest tax rate in the entire county.
So here's the question. I have this crystal ball. Mm-hmm. And this crystal ball has Robin Persiconi, Livonia City Council member, either a 2-year term or a 4-year term. If the voters are lucky, they can have you for 4 years.
Oh, thanks.
What does a Robin Persiconi City Council person, what's that look like after your first term? How's the city, obviously you're not the executive branch, but where do you want to see the city in 4 years, 2 years when you're on council? What does that look like to you?
Well, to me, that looks like a less divided city, a less divisive city. I think that people in our community just simply want to feel heard. Like they had an opportunity to voice their opinion and their concerns and that they were listened to. Certainly, all the meetings are open to the public. There's a public comment section and things of that nature, but they're limited, right? You come up, you get 3 minutes or 2 minutes to talk and say your piece, and it's not for open exchange between council members and those that are making their comment. It's the meetings aren't, they're not run that way by design. They have to get through the many things that have to get done at the meetings. So I want to have that more open engagement and, following in the footsteps of other council people that put themselves out there. They have monthly meetings. You go to the senior centers, you host a pizza lunch, you have a coffee meeting, and you really give people an opportunity to engage with you. And it's kind of like a two-part answer, I guess, to your question, too, because once you're doing that, and then as a council person, when you're up there, you have to be honest with people, right? As a lawyer, as a business owner, our job is to manage our clients' expectations, right? We can't pretend, we can't let our clients think something's going to happen that's absolutely not going to happen. We can't promise the sun, the moon, and the stars and give them nothing. You're going to have very disappointed clients, and you're not going to get people that are going to come back to you. I view that as, the constituents and the voters of our community, of our city, they're clients like that. We have to, my approach is going to be, I'm going to be honest with you. You might not like what I'm telling you. It might not be what you want to hear, but I have a responsibility to tell you that. And I think if you approach it in that way, you really eliminate a lot of the negativeness, the lack of transparency issues that people think exist in our local elections. So at the end of my term, I hope people feel that they've been heard and had opportunities to be heard and were told the truth.
Robin, what I hear from that is what I tell a lot of my clients. I tell a lot of my clients, I work for you. Mm-hmm. You're my boss.
Yeah.
Then I ask them for a raise, and that never happens. So what I just heard from you, you're asking to have, what's the population in Livonia?
Just under 100,000.
You're asking to represent 100,000 people. Mm-hmm. You're asking to represent them, for them to be your boss, and to tell them the way it is, mm-hmm. and work for them.
That's 100% it.
That's what I just heard.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, that's what a public servant is. You are a representative of the people. And, you get into this because you feel, for me, I'm getting into it. I shouldn't say you get into it, but for me, I'm getting into it because I feel called to do this. Like, this is something I've always been interested in. I was a political science major. I worked in D.C. I've always enjoyed being involved with local, with politics and local government. And the one thing, that I will promise to do is be honest. It's just a lacking trait. You need to have integrity to be in public office. You should have integrity to be in public office. People want people with integrity in public office. And until I give you a reason not to believe me, that's kind of how I operate with everybody. I'll believe you until you give me a reason not to. And I will take that approach to city council.
I thought you were doing it for the money.
Yeah. I'm most definitely not doing it for the money. I don't even know what they get paid, but I'm pretty sure it's almost a volunteer position. Yeah.
Well, if you want to donate to the Amer Hakim Foundation.
Yep.
I haven't made it up yet, but we'll let you know.
Yep.
Man, this is all, honestly, I feel lucky that our viewers get to listen to this, because this is the Robin that I know that I wanted them to hear. I need you to give them something, though. I need you to give the voters one message, right? Your one shot. This is your closing argument.
Okay.
Robin, this is it. Like, why? How many other people are they running?
Well, we have actually I think this is a record amount of candidates running in the city of Livonia. On the ballot, there's going to be 19 names, but 2 candidates have suspended their campaigns. So there's going to be 17. There are currently 17 candidates running for open spots. So we have a huge pool of candidates. And primary is August 5th, so it's coming up to about 2 weeks away. Absentee voting is going on now. People are voting, and we have early voting, and then, of course, Election Day. So, it's a lot of information for voters to go through. And so my message to voters is, pretty simple, right? I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I've got kids in Livonia Public Schools, I went to Livonia Public Schools, I'm enmeshed in the city of Livonia, and I love Livonia, but I do think we can do better. And so I want people, when they are looking at that ballot, I want them to pick Robin, pick Persiconi, because I will work for a better Livonia.
I think if you say pick Persiconi 5 times straight, I think they should automatically vote for it. I mean, if you can do that like 5 times straight.
I can't. I'm not going to try. I'm not going to try. Pick Robin, maybe. I can try that one. That's a little better.
Well,
it's a little easier.
When I first met you, I had to say your name like 4 or 5 times. But I got it now, Persiconi.
Yeah, you do. You got it now.
Right?
I tell people it's exactly how it's spelled.
Not bad.
Sound it out. Remember the thing when you learned syllables and you put your hand under your thumb and Persiconi, like that's it. Like that's what you got to do.
I tell you, I had to practice, and I tell people too. Do you know I speak 5 languages?
I did not know that.
Come on, we've been friends for a year. 5 languages.
I knew you spoke 2.
Well, I speak a little English, not too much.
Okay.
I speak Chaldean.
Uh-huh.
I speak Arabic. Mm-hmm. I speak Spanish. That's 4 of them.
Excellent.
You know what the 5th one is?
No.
I speak Canadian, eh?
Yeah. Nice, Amer. Nice.
Right? I mean, look,
right, yeah. No,
I love Canadian. No. I love the 51st state.
Yeah,
I'm all about it.
We're not going to go there.
I'm all about the 51st state.
Nope.
Come on, man. Look, I promised you a straight interview.
No, so far so good.
You got a straight interview.
Let's keep it that way, yeah.
Now we got to go Amer style.
Okay, all right.
All right. You're the first guest.
Yes.
The name of the podcast is what?
I Ain't Lying.
I got to guess something, Robin.
Okay,
I got to get something. Let's go. Let's go to your law career. Let's start there. I need you to tell me a story. This is the theme, right?
Right.
And I want you to take a minute to think about it. Then after you tell the story, I ain't lying. That really happened.
Oh, you put me on the spot.
But you got so many. I mean, you've been practicing for 23 years.
I have a lot of stories.
You've been on both sides. You've done defense work. Mm-hmm. And I remember a couple of times I went to court, you were filling in as city attorney. Mm-hmm. You represented the city.
Yeah.
You filled in a couple of times.
Yeah.
So give her the bag, Peyton. Let her give us a story. What's the story?
Like you
said. Make it good, though. Don't disappoint. You're the first guest.
Gosh.
You're the first guest.
Okay. So you remember certain days in court, right? For 20 years, I was a public defender at one particular court. And
35th.
35th. Yes, I was there.
That's where I met you.
It was. Yes. And so I was there, I might as well have had like a cot there, right? I was there, 3 to 5 days a week for 20 years. I represented thousands of indigent defendants. But so anyway, one day I'm in court and I am at the podium in the courtroom. Court is ongoing. I have my client standing next to me on the podium to my right. Well, you know how courtrooms are set up. At least these courtrooms, you've got the benches behind counsel table with 2 chairs, attorney, client, and then right behind the counsel table is a bench. And that's the bench for overflow attorneys. Everyone's waiting for their cases to be called. So I
never sit on the bench. I'm always a starter. I've never been a bencher, so I wouldn't know what the bench looks like.
I'm sorry. Well, okay.
I'm always at the podium.
Well, I'm not at that level, right? So here I've sat on that bench, and so this particular day, this particular day, I'm at the podium and I'm advocating for my client who's right next to me, and we're going back and forth, and it was kind of a heated exchange. The judge and I weren't agreeing necessarily, and I was advocating for my client for for what I believe was good for him and right for him. And all of a sudden, out of kind of the corner of my eye, and I kind of hear it almost before I see it, someone jumped off the counsel bench from behind me and just clocked my client like we're shoulder to shoulder up there.
Straight up knocked
just
your client
knocked
out.
him to the floor. And I mean, it was like a thump. You know, I don't think that I've ever been that close to
This dude was right next to you?
standing next to me,
He just gets laid out?
laid out. And all of a sudden, I mean,
don't mean to
the
laugh,
security guys come.
I've seen that on TV.
Literally, it was like court TV. It was court TV. And, you know, the court officers, you know, 3 of them get on the guy that threw the punch. They tasered him. It took them like 3 tasers to calm this guy down. And these guys were surrounding him. And it was literally a movie. I don't even know what happened. And we're done. And then my client just gets up and he goes and he sits. I'm like, are you okay? I'm like, did you know him? He's like, I have no idea who that was. And it was just totally random. Totally random. And I mean, something set him off and he just took out my client.
While you're just
Well,
standing.
I'm just standing there. Yeah.
You know, you see it on TV.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially now with all the Zooms
Yeah,
and all that
yeah.
crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I think a year or so ago, the guy jumped over, tried to get to the judge.
Yes. It was like a scene like that. It was nuts.
You ain't lying, are you?
I ain't lying.
Wow, that's the.
Nope.
Well,
It
you're
was
pretty
something.
big, so I'm surprised you didn't have to.
I mean,
you didn't take care of it yourself. To be honest with you.
like literally, I think he knew better, right? He took one look at me. It was like,
oh my God.
I'm not going after her. I'm going to go after the dude standing next to her, for sure, for sure. It was
that's
something. It was something.
You
Memorable day in court.
You never know what the day holds. for
No,
us.
you don't. That is truly why I love what I do. Every day, something new. You learn something new every day. It is not the same thing. You don't get stuck behind a desk all day. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Well, there you go. Great interview. My friend Robin, who, again, I've known for 8 years. City of Livonia, go out and vote. You'll be lucky to have a person like Robin to advocate for you. It's not lip service. I think she's absolutely the right person working for you. She'll do a great job for you.